Hello and welcome to Sam Not So Wise. My name is Sam. Now today I've got something slightly different for you, although technically it is another tag video, my last video also being a tag video, which was the Book Snob tag. So please go and check that out if you have not. I love tag videos, they're a lot of fun, they really help you to get to know the booktuber, but I do try and space them out a little bit to try and get some more serious content in the middle, if you will. But this one was just too much fun to pass up. And I want to take it slightly further than the original video I was tagged in does, just for my own amusement, really, and hopefully yours. So the structure of the video, I will do what the tag asks me by seeing which are the top 10 fantasy books or series I need to read according to our fantasy. I'm also going to see how many books I've read in the top 100, go through those with a bit of commentary whilst I'm going through the list, tell you a little bit about thoughts about the books or their placements. And finally, I'm going to end by exclaiming some disbelief at a few books lying outside of the top 100, which I find baffling. So with that, and much further ado, let's find out how well read I am. So I was tagged by Nev over at Nev's book channel. I love Nev and I love his channel. He is such a fun guy and he says some really great things about books. I really recommend you go and check out his channel because he is a lot of fun and he reads quite a lot of different stuff, and it's all mainly within the kind of sci-fi fantasy genre, which I talk about as well. So fast becoming good friends with that very good man. Please go and check out his channel, and please check out his video in which he tagged me. So he created this idea to see what would be the top 10 sci-fi fantasy series or books one needs to read according to our fantasies list of the best books in the most recent survey that they have done. So he made a website where you can tick off the list from the top until you've bypassed 10 books you haven't read, therefore deciding what the 10 biggest holes in your reading are. Really fun idea, and he made this website himself, which is bloody brilliant. Thank you, Nev. It also gives you a score according to how many you've ticked in this top whatever you've gotten to. So this is a really fun idea. I do recommend you go and watch his video and then you do the list yourself and you let us know how you did, because it will be really interesting to find out. Let us know in my comments and his. So I'll put a link to his channel and his video in the description, but I'm not going to link the website as I want you to go and engage with Nev and his channel and his video. And you can find it in his version of this video. So now let's go over what I've read until there are 10 books left, therefore deciding my basically list of shame. I'm crap at tech, so I'm just gonna read them out from my iPad for you. Nev's presentation was absolutely superb. Again, please go and watch that video. Finally, I'll just let you know that I'm counting a tick on any of these, even if I've only read the first installment of a series, because it's more fun that way. You get more numbers and that's what we want. So let's go over the list. All right, armed with my trusty iPad, I can tell you what I have read from this list until I get 10 that I haven't read. So I have read the Middle-earth universe. At least I have read the Lord of the Rings trilogy and The Hobbit, obviously one of my favorites of all time. The First Law World, so I've read the first trilogy. I was kind of slightly disappointed by the first trilogy. Not bad, but not kind of the heights that people talk about. So I haven't moved on yet, but I will reread those and get to the further books at some point. A Song of Ice and Fire by George Martin. I've obviously read the 5 main novels and absolutely love them, one of the best. Stormlight Archive, read everything in that, the 5 main books and the 2 novellas that are out. Mixed bag with that one. Realm of the Elderlings, I've read all of the Realm of the Elderlings and it is one of my favourite series of all time, probably top 5, I can't quite remember what I said before. Wheel of Time, I've obviously read The Wheel of Time, that is my favourite series of all time. Discworld, I've read all of the adult Discworld books apart from one. We can get into that in another video. Next is Mistborn. So I've read the original, the first trilogy, quite enjoyed it, really enjoyed the ending. Haven't got to the second trilogy, or series actually, yet, but I will, but I'm going to give it a couple of years. I need a break from Brandon Sanderson. The Greenbone Saga, I have read that trilogy. Similar to First Law, I enjoyed it, but it didn't blow my mind like it has a lot of people. And again, with the next one, Red Rising, read the initial trilogy, haven't moved on because it didn't blow my mind, and also it wasn't all fully released, which it still isn't, so I will probably get back to it one day. Harry Potter, obviously read Harry Potter. Piranesi, I've read that, really enjoyed it. Dune, I've read the first 4 books in the series, and I enjoyed the first 3, didn't like God Emperor, not interested in reading on after that. The Earthsea Cycle by Ursula K. Le Guin, I've read the first 4 books because they're in a compendium. There's 2 more after, I believe, 1 more story and 1 collection of short stories. I haven't read those 2, but I'm interested in rereading the Earthsea Cycle because it's small and great, and I want to get to those other books as well. The Kingkiller Chronicle, I read the first book, wasn't a big fan, so haven't moved on. The Locked Tomb by Tasmin Moore, I read Gideon the Ninth, which I quite enjoyed, but I wasn't that impelled to go on, but I may change my mind at some point. The Broken Earth trilogy by N.K. Jemisin, read all of those. The first book is probably the best, but the ending is absolutely outstanding. The Expanse by James S.A. Corey, I've read all of those and all of the novellas and short stories as well. I liked it, but it wasn't mind-blowing again. Not in my top 10 series or even sci-fi series probably. And then the final one I get to on this list is the Dresden Files. I've read the first 3 books. Oh my god, I'm just going to be making a lot of enemies in this video, aren't I? Because I'm not really bothered about going on, and I know that you're supposed to read to quite a few books in the series where it gets really good, but at the moment I just don't have that much interest. Maybe? And I'll tell you why later in the year, but at the moment that is my list of read. So Dresden Files is number 28 on this list. So I now, at this point, have 10 books or series on this list that I haven't read, so I can make my top 10 list of books that I need to read according to this survey. So we'll go from 10 to 1. So number 10 is the Hierarchy series by James Islington. Kind of interested in reading it, but it's quite low down, if I'm honest. Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clarke. Now, I loved Piranesi, but this book is absolutely massive, and there's just not that much pulling me to it. Let me know why I should read it if it's one of your favourites. Osternaard Saga by Tad Williams. I am interested in this. I love books that kind of cross the divide of classic and modern fantasy, such as The Wheel of Time. So I am quite interested in this, but it is a big undertaking, so I'm not sure when I'll get to it. So that, what's that, 10, 9, 8. Number 7 is Sun Eater. Now that one I am very much interested in. I just have a few more series that I want to read before it, so maybe next year we will see. Number 6, The Wandering Inn by Pirate Abba. Not going to be reading that. That is too many words. Oh my god, my memory's crap. 5, I think. The Murderbot Diaries by Martha Wells. I've said recently that I'm not really interested in reading this at all. Let me know if I should change my mind. Oh my god, I'm just making enemies. The next one, number 4, is Cradle by Will White. I've also said recently that I'm not really interested in lit RPG or progression fantasy. So not very interested in that. And that leads us on to Dungeon Crawler Carl. Same reasons, I'm not very interested in reading lit RPG. Maybe this one because it is so hyped, but not anytime soon. I have too many priorities ahead of it. Number 2 is Gentleman Bastard by Scott Lynch. I don't know why I haven't read this one, but for some reason it also isn't pulling me to it. Tell me why I should read it. And then number 1 is Malazan, which I have concrete plans for reading. So finally I can say that for one of these. I am starting next month by reading Gardens of the Moon. So they are my top 10 books and series that I should have read and should be on my TBR, but aren't really. So that is the basis of the tag video. I recommend people go ahead and do it themselves. Find it on Nev's channel and let us know your scores and what are your top books that you need to read. Just by the way, I got a score of 29, which was higher than Nev's. So yes, I win. But now I want to expand it a little bit just out of curiosity really as to how well read I am, hence the title of the video, and to encourage you to do the same and let me know how many books you have read. So I'm doing the top 100. How many books out of 100 from this list have I read? So same as before, I'll go through the list telling you what I've read with maybe a little commentary in between. So where did I get to? I got to the Dresden Files. So the next one, the Hainish Cycle. So I've technically read one book from the Hainish Cycle, The Left Hand of Darkness. Next, the Cosmere. This one really confuses me because we've already had Mistborn and Stormlight, right? So, I mean, yes, I have read the Cosmere because I've read those books. So yes, that's one. His Dark Materials, I have read that. That is one of my kind of important reads growing up. Really brilliant series. I love it. Next one is The Dark Tower. Stephen King, one of my favorite series of all time. Hyperion Cantos. I've read Hyperion and The Fall of Hyperion. Absolutely brilliant. Don't know why I didn't move on to Endymion, but I will one day. Project Hail Mary. Can't go wrong with that. Brilliant book. The Dandelion Dynasty. So I am about 200 pages from finishing that series. Review of the series to come. So I'm almost finished with that, so a definite tick there. Wayfarers, I read the first book in that, wasn't really enamored with it. I can see why people love it, but just not for me. I'm not continuing in the series. The Banished Lands, again, weird to include everything because that's two series in one. I've read the first one, The Faithful and the Fallen. Again, don't know why I didn't get to the second series because I loved the first one so bloody much. Ender Saga, I've read the first two. Again, loved both of them. Don't know why I didn't move on. Where are we? The next one will be This Is How You Lose the Time War. I've read that. Really enjoyed it. Great little story. Children of Time, I've read all of those. Looking forward to the next book coming out next year. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I've read the first four books of that. Enjoyed kind of the first half and it went down a little bit for me, but really loved the first book especially. The Old Kingdom, Aborson, Garth Nix, I read when I was young, Sabriel and Lyriel, and absolutely loved them. The third one wasn't out when I was a kid, so that's why I haven't moved on. What's next? The Left Hand of Darkness, so that's the one from the Hainish Cycle, so I can technically tick 2 boxes there. Brilliant for me. Next, I'm missing a few here, Frankenstein, absolute classic, read that. Earthseed, the duology by Octavia Butler, read those last year, absolutely loved it, incredibly depressing. And in a similar vein, by the same author, is Kindred. And that takes me to the end of the top 100. And I can let you know, because I obviously did this before, that I got 36 out of 100, which I'm quite happy with. But again, you do it yourself and let me know what score you got out of 100. So as a coda to the video, I had a little look further down the list and I found some books that I think maybe should be higher or I'm just a little bit surprised at. So I've written them down, so let's go through them. So at 103 was the Culture series by Ian M. Banks. This is obviously my favorite author of all time, if you've been around this channel at all. And that is my second favorite series of all time. So for me, it deserves to be way higher, but it is kind of a underhyped, underrated series. So please do check out The Culture. At 114 was 1984 by George Orwell. Absolute classic, one of the most important dystopian books ever to be written and my favourite book of all time. So obviously I think it needs to be a lot higher. At 122 is The Warlord Chronicles. Bernard Cornwell's author-inspired historical fiction, absolutely wonderful trilogy. I would have thought it would have gotten into the top 100, but kind of fair it's there. At joint 139 is Cloud Atlas, my favourite David Mitchell book, one of my favourite authors. I can understand why a lot of people bounce off this book, but its brilliance for me deserves to be a little bit higher. Joint 139 is Tyrant Philosophers series by Adrian Tchaikovsky. Again, just underrated really in my opinion, and I think if more people read it, it might go up, but they are quite difficult books. So at 150 is the Empyrean series, which is the Fourth Wing series, and I don't think this is great. I read Fourth Wing and didn't really like it. I understand why a lot of people like it, but I would have thought it would have been much, much higher than 150. Extremely surprised by that. 161, Never Let Me Go, Kazuo Ishiguro, my favorite book by him. I thought more people liked Ishiguro, so I'm just a little bit surprised that it's that low. Hopefully that will move up over time. 161 as well, joint 161 is The Martian. Now I would have thought that would have been much higher, very popular book, a great book. And again, joint 169 is It by Stephen King. I thought more people liked Stephen King, so I'm surprised to see this, one of his most famous books and one of my favorites by him, to be this low. Very surprising. 212, Revelation Space by Alistair Reynolds. Again, one of my favorite sci-fi authors. This is a very famous book in the sci-fi scene, so I'm a little bit surprised it's not even in the top 200. And in a similar vein, also at 212, is the Commonwealth Saga, one of my favorite series of all time. Absolutely epic space opera, brilliant series. I would have thought it'd at least be in the top 150. To be less than 200 is crazy. 247, joint 247, is the first 15 lives of Harry August, one of my new favourite books as of last year. I understand it's not the most popular in the world, but I would have thought it might be a little bit higher, and I think it deserves to be higher. But maybe the biggest surprise at this level, joint 247, is Flowers for Algernon. I thought, you know, this is a super respected book, so I thought it would be much higher. I mean, this is what the people chose, so this is what it is. And obviously, surveys are never really completely accurate, but yeah, just a little surprised by some of these later entries. So that is it for today's video. As usual, I thank you so much if you've made it this far into the video. I really, really appreciate it. This was just a bit of fun today, thanks to the great Nev, and me just being a little bit cheeky and self-indulgent by taking it a little step further. I would love to hear how other people have done, so please do go and engage with Nev's link. And let me know how many you got out of 100 as well. This is obviously no competition. It doesn't really matter how many books you've read. I'm just a little bit curious. So please do let me know in the comments. Big thank you to Nev for making this video and this link, and for tagging me. When it comes to tagging, I'm never really sure who to tag, so I'm just going to tag a couple of people who I consider great YouTubers and good friends. So I will tag Nikhil over at Shelf Esteem, and the wiser of the Samwisers on YouTube in iSamWise. So that is it for today. If you liked the video, please do think about liking. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and join my journey. And that is it for now. So I'll see you in another video soon. Goodbye.